And then it looks like we also have Andrew Zofke. Okay, could you unmute? Just make sure your audio is working for me.
Yes. Can you hear me all right?
I can, yeah. And
Awesome.
are you representing Kingsley and Company today,
That,
or?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay,
I'm a construction project manager for Kingsley.
got it. Okay. Are you expecting anyone else to join us here today for this hearing before we get started?
Um, not with Kingsley, I don't believe. Daniel may be hopping on, but we can proceed without him.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started then. I
All
need to
right.
read through our hearing script. This will just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll begin. So this is the December 4th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'll be presiding over the hearing. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I will hear from the planning department and Mr. Munzel if he'd like to provide any testimony in addition to a staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I do is just swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing testimony here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, if you could raise your right hand and answer out loud, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, all right, Mr. Zofke, I will turn it over to you. Typically, what people talk about during these hearings is just background on the actual project that they think is important, what exactly it is they're proposing, the relief that is necessary to accomplish that, and then why you think that relief is appropriate. So if you're ready, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm introduced myself. I'm Andrew Zofke. I'm with Kingsley and Company. I'm the construction project manager. You guys may be more familiar with Daniel, who's also in our office that works closely with me. But the project in question here is the Victory Vistas apartments that we actually completed the construction of about a month ago and got our full certificate of occupancy. And the purpose of this is for our monument sign specifically. When your cars are traveling down Victory Parkway, which is kind of at the bottom of the hill, if you're familiar, and we've kind of had to put some serious retaining walls in to hold the land back so we could build on it. And at the bottom of the hill is where our monument sign is located. And so in order to maximize the visibility of that monument sign to vehicles traveling on Victory Vista or on Victory Parkway, we want to move that sign as close as possible to the property line, and so that it impedes on the setback that's required for that monument sign, which is what we're asking relief for. And the view is blocked by a good amount of vegetation, sort of north of that monument sign. The sign's located at the corner of Asmund and Victory, and so because of that vegetation there, the sign's not very visible where we originally had it placed. And so we're asking to move it closer to that property line. The alternative would be to take some of those trees down and vegetation. There's quite a bit of it, and it's the vegetation sort of naturally holding up that hillside, and taking those down might cause that hillside to be unstable. So we want to avoid that. And so we think the best solution to maximize the visibility is what we're proposing here today.
Okay. I don't think I have any questions. Do you have an estimate? I do have a question. Do you have an estimate of the distance from the actual right of way to the sign?
The right of way to the sign.
Yeah.
I would have to pull up the survey. I apologize. I wasn't prepared to.
No, that's fine. I mean, I have some documents here from the application material, so I have a general sense of it. I was just wondering if you had
Okay.
something more precise.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think the actual distance we're asking to move it is roughly like 7 feet
Okay.
forward. So it's not a great move, not a great distance, but I do think it'll help improve the visibility.
Okay. Got it. And did you say how big the dimensions of the sign were?
Let me if you give me 1 second, I will pull that up. Let's see. This is, um, yeah, so the mock-up, so it's 72 inches wide and 42 inches tall, so just shy of 4 feet tall. And that's the sign panel itself. It'll actually go on a concrete base. So we'll pour a concrete foundation for it, and then the sign will kind of attach to that concrete foundation. So 72 inches wide, 42 inches tall is the rough dimensions of that sign.
Gotcha. Okay. And is the sign going to be lit at all, either internally or externally?
Just externally. So we have a conduit that's ran out there right now. It'll allow us to run electric to an uplight. It won't be internally lit. It'll just have like an uplight kind of shining up at the sign.
Okay. And I did, for the record, I did the original zoning approvals on the development itself. So I'm familiar with the area and with the project, and I know that there are some apartments or condos across the street. Will the light be directed away from those residential properties?
Yeah, correct. So the light will actually be pointing sort of towards our apartment building. It won't be visible from our apartment building because of the trees that I was describing. But it will be facing kind of from the corner of Asman and Victory towards our building, away from that apartment building across the street.
Let me share my screen here just for a quick second, just to understand the orientation. So, and this is generally the area where the sign's going to go, right here.
Exactly. Yeah, we've cleared some of those trees back.
Mhm.
Maybe like a 20 by 20 section. And then, yeah, if you look kind of to the rest, to the right of your mouse there, that's that tree line I was describing that kind of blocks the view. And so yeah, that's the purpose for us wanting to move that sign forward. And so that uplight will kind of be like, if you can, draw a diagonal from the corner from that pole kind of toward the tree line there, that's the direction that the light will be pointing towards the sign. So the sign will be turned so it's sort of visible from Victory and from Asman as you're turning on to Asman.
Okay, so it'll be facing towards where we're looking right now, or will it be
Um,
facing out this direction, or are you saying it'll be facing back this way, or I assume it's double-sided?
yeah, it'll be double sided. So we're gonna angle it so it kind of it's visible. It'll be kind of like the front of the sign will be facing the intersection is the best way to describe it. Then the light will be shining opposite of that, toward the sign, toward our building, really.
Okay, got it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
All right, I don't have any other questions. I'm gonna give Wes an opportunity to weigh in here. Wes, anything you want to add?
Hi, I just was going to clarify. I think the question about the distance to the right-of-way line that you were asking earlier, I think
Mhm.
it's right on the property line, like the
Yeah,
setback is 0, like from that Victory Parkway
right,
right-of-way line.
right.
Um,
But it won't be 0 feet from the actual roadway,
no,
will it?
no, the curb will be whatever, 20 feet away or something like that.
Right.
Okay, so from the curb to the sign will be 20 feet.
Something like that.
Okay,
I think they show it on their site plan. The curb line, I believe, is shown um, on page 5 of the staff report. Um, the other question
got it.
you were asking was the size of it. I think I calculated at about 21 square feet, which is below the allowed size for this type of sign. But I don't have any other comments.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Wes. Appreciate your work on the staff report here and helping answer some of those questions. Mr. Zofsky, I'll turn it back over to you. Is there anything you want to say in response to anything Wes said or anything else, closing or otherwise, before we adjourn here today?
I think that covers it. Yeah, no, if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I think that kind of describes everything we're going. It's pretty straightforward, really. We're just trying to maximize the visibility of that sign from both directions. So I think that covers it.
Okay. Let's leave it at that then. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today and my knowledge of the general area and the site, I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code of this application. So I am going to approve the request. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that out to you as soon as possible. Time frame's getting a little tight here with the holidays, but
Sure.
I think 2 weeks is probably a realistic estimate.
Okay.
As soon as I finish that, I'll put into a PDF. I'll email it to you
Okay.
and to Wes in the same email. As soon as Wes sees that, he can approve the zoning on his end, and you can take the next steps.
Okay. Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. Good luck with the project, and